This is the Sir Bevil Greville monument on Lansdowne between Bristol and Bath. It commemorates a Civil War battle in the Great English Civil War, the English Revolution, the only class war we ever won for a brief time. And I'd just like to read you a quote. This is not about Sir Bevil Greville. He's not all that interesting. He was a brave man, but anyway. To my noble friend Sir Ralph Upton, the experiences I have of your worth and the happiness I have enjoyed in your friendship are wounding considerations when I look at this present distance between us. Certainly my affection to you is so unchangeable that hostility itself cannot violate my friendship. And that was written by Waller, the parliamentary general, to Sir Ralph Upton, the royalist general, while they were blowing each other to bits. I just thought I'd read that out. This is a Roman building on Lansdowne, on the northern tip of the Lansdowne plateau. It was dug 1906, and they've just done a geophysics survey in the last 5 years. The two things don't match up. The survey done by where the walls and the buildings are in the 1906 dig are not the same as what geophysics is showing us where the walls are. There is, however, what we do know about it is it's not a villa. It doesn't have a mosaic. It's not a luxury building. It looks to be industrial. I think lead and iron working went on up here, and there's a rectangular building in the middle of it. There are some older features. The tip, they do seem to be boundary ditches between that enclose the tip of the promontory, and that looks Iron Age. Possibly there could have been a shrine or something like that here, but there are very prominent earthworks here, which is quite we don't often see with relatively insignificant buildings. They do. It is. I think because of its height, because of where it is, it's less likely it would have been ploughed over and over and over again up on top of the plateau. So it's so there's a lot there to see. But anyway, onwards and upwards. Let's go and see the next. Let's do some footage and then go on to the next bit. This stone here next to me has been put up in the last sort of 20 years or so to mark the Cotswolds Way. It's also part of the site of the Civil War Battle of Lansdowne. Lansdowne is where we are now. It is an illustration from the 17th century here. I don't know whether you can see it very well. It's also it's called, they've entitled it "The World Turned Upside Down," which is also the title of this book by Christopher Hill, which talks about radicalism in the 17th century in England and the English Revolution. Something I'm quite interested in. It talks about all the more balmy stuff, like the ranters and you know, well, not necessarily balmy, but you know, extreme Puritanism and all this sort of stuff, but also really important stuff to the history of the British liberalism and the labour movement, which is things like the Levellers are massively important. The Diggers. The Diggers were practically communist sort of 300 years, 200 years before Marx came along, and the Levellers were sort of a bit, you know, what we would, you know, quite similar to what the Labour Party is today. I thought I'd point it out. I don't think this is written by Christopher Hill, who I think it's fair to say is not a complete stranger to the works of that great big ice pick botherer Leon Trotsky. It is quite a radical book, but it's actually quite an enjoyable read as well. I can recommend it. Published by Penguin. Up there, along there, is another promontory Iron Age fort, less than a mile from our Roman building on a promontory on the north side of Lansdowne. There's also some Bronze Age barrows there as well, and up beyond it there's a Roman camp and a rectangular enclosure, probably Iron Age. Down here next to the golf course there's a Roman villa with a Roman well and with Roman sarcophagi. All very, very interesting. We've just come down to a village called Bitton, which is in South Gloucestershire, near to where we live, and quite a nice walk with some interesting stuff. Behind me is the barrow, Bitton Bronze Age barrow, well, probably Bronze Age. No, that's a simplification. Barrows came in about 2,400, round barrows, 2,400 BC. Bronze came in probably about 2000 BC. In between that there was the Copper Age. Oh, look how pretty that is. Horse trotting. But anyway, yeah, so this round barrow was placed here. I'm more and more convinced he's got nothing. He's having a trot. No, he is. Anyway, yeah, these barrows, I get more and more convinced they're about a grave with a view more than anything else. We know most barrows on top of hilltops, and that's because they were less likely to have been ploughed out by ploughs over the last sort of 4,000 years, but they were everywhere. And this one's down at the bottom of a hill. We're on a slight rise coming up from the river, and there's hills in front of me now. I've no idea what was in this barrow. Obviously, a human remains, but if I could point out over there, if you look at those hilltops over there, it's not so easy to see right now, but along in that field there are lynchets, so that's very, very old. That's a prominent, we know that's fertile land. We'll be going up there in a minute, and all around it is a very beautiful, this is quite a view, and then they placed the church there.
I like this stone business.
Behind me is possibly the Roman settlement of Triectus. There's two other candidates. We know the name Triectus because of some itinerary or something or other. It's basically the Roman idea of a map written out. First you go to this place, then that place, then the other place. Triectus means a crossing, where we get the word trajectory, or it's related to the word trajectory. It's a big sort of parabolic curve, and so it's probably isn't this place. And another candidate for it is Keynsham, which is some great big villas and all sorts of Roman stuff was found, whereas this is just a minor area. But this is a perfectly square earthwork with rounded corners, so it looks to me like a Roman camp. People on the 1890 something or other Ordnance Survey map was marked down as a Roman camp. This is it's well, there's a Roman road running through here. The LiDAR has got some interesting markings on the ground here, as well as the OS map suggests that it's a square earthwork with another square inside it, and instantly you would think of as a Romano-British temple. It's on a Roman road, definitely near to a Roman settlement. It looks, again, much like Triectus down the, less than a mile away from here. You would think, it quacks, it's got webbed feet, etc. Yeah, it's Roman. It does, however, dip down in the middle over there. So Cotswold Archaeology, I think it was them that did a little sort of investigative. I think it was radar. I don't know what they did. Geophys. Physics of some sort, and they concluded it was a pond, perfectly square pond with a perfectly square thing in the middle. But anyway, yeah, I'll just point it. Just thought I'd show you this. It's here. I think it. Now I've actually come here, I think it's less likely to be a Roman temple because it dips down in the middle. But then the Romans did engineer their way out of problems like soggy land. But anyway, I just thought you'd show it. That's the end of my trip round Bitton area. I shall see you on the next one. Ta-ra for now.